is the BK Lounge Podcast. Welcome to laughs, love, and crazy debates by your two favorite hosts, Bert and Kenny. Join us in talks about military life, relationships, golf life, and so much more. Your new favorite place to come hang out on Sundays. Introducing the BK Lounge Podcast, a Bert's Beat Studios production. And now your hosts, Bert and Kenny.
Welcome in, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Hello, everyone. What are you guys doing? What are y'all doing?
Episode 5. BK Lounge Pod.
5. We're going casual.
Casual. Lazy day for us, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
We haven't had a lazy day like that in a long time. I don't think since I've been down here.
No. We had a lazy day. We did go out. We did go to a Christmas market today.
We did go to a Christmas market today. It was great. It was grand. It was very festive.
But we came back
And I needed a nap.
Yeah, somebody needed a nap.
I needed a nap bad.
This guy over here. But no, casual. Sweats,
Comfy.
sweatshirt, sweet hat. Somebody hates my new hat.
I don't hate your new hat. I was just jealous of it. And then when I asked to see it, you're like, no, don't even touch it. And then,
But now all day, because I showed him this morning or last night, and he's been like, sick hat. And I'm like, all right, rude.
it is a sweet hat. I'm just jealous of it. And I wasn't even able to look at it.
Yeah, I don't need your grubby paws on my stuff.
As you're wearing my sweatshirt.
Yeah, you all want a fit check? Okay. So, Glory Days hat, Barstool Sports hoodie from that side of the closet, and these sweatpants are my sister's from her closet in Vermont. These socks are mine. This hat is mine. So, that's about it. You want to tell them what you're wearing?
I'm wearing Reebok sweats from Going Gone that Kenny got for me.
Yep, there it is.
My gosh. Bert's Beat tee. You can get on bertsbeat.com yourself. No hat. Got the little bit of a bedhead nap hair. And these are my socks. These are not new socks.
Those are not new socks.
Not new socks. Might be holy. Oh, got a little dog hair on them. We're all right.
No, but those, I did get him new socks as well.
She did. Haven't broken those out yet. I'm trying to get through the bad ones.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing. So, but yeah, mine.
Right.
So.
Yeah, all of my clothes, I guess, are hers. Anywho, episode 5, 1 away from 6, 1 more than 4, episode 5.
Episode 5.
Recap, episode 4.
All right. So, episode 4, we talked about snow.
Yep.
At my golf tournament, which was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
We talked about that golf tournament in itself. We talked about what this guy does when I'm not home, and how he says, "Oh, it's so nice." He cried.
I didn't cry
cried.
once. That was the best week.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. You decorated the house.
The house looks great. You were even more enthused than I was expecting you to be about it. So that was like a little warm and fuzzy.
And we did title the episode last week. It was like Pinehurst Snow,
J
Mike's, all of that. And then the gnome shed.
Oh, that's right. We didn't talk about the gnome shed.
We got off live and we got off posting the, pod and all of that. And I was like, we didn't even talk about the gnome shed. This house is the gnome shed. There's gnomes everywhere. We've kind of briefly breezed by it a couple of times, but we live in the gnome shed. Our Wi-Fi is the gnome shed.
Right, it is.
I won't say what the password is because it's secret, but it's so good. And yeah, the reason being is there's gnomes everywhere.
So did you guys move here and there was like one in the garden or something and then you just started adding them? Or did you guys go out and buy gnomes?
The gnomes were were us.
Gotcha.
So me and my best friend Jess, when we moved to Charlotte, we came to this house. This was the house that we moved in originally, just her and I. And we both had a big thing for gnomes. We love gnomes. We think they're funny. They're just amazing. You look at a gnome and you're like, oh, that guy's kind of like a little cute guy right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we had gnomes. We had gnomes to decorate different things. Honestly, the big gnome fan was Jess.
Because, like, there's just, like, a random gnome all the way up by the actual shed, too.
Yeah, we got him. We got that guy.
And then there's a gnome in the garden.
Jess had that guy.
And then there's gnomes in the kitchen.
Yep.
Now, again, I've been feeding into it. You've been still purchasing gnomes. And
Yep.
I've just adapted.
Correct.
I'm okay with the gnome shed.
You're part of the gnome shed now. And he decorated the gnome shed. And that was something
I
that we
did.
didn't talk about.
I did.
And that's so special because I love that shed. It's so good. It's so good to, yeah.
Why do you love the shed?
My old couch is in there. My old couch has a lot of memories. That was my first, like, big girl purchase. And he wants me to get rid of it, even though we have his couch in our living room. Granted, we would never put that one inside. But, that was a big deal for me. And you just can't push me to get rid of it.
Jensen, it's covered in mouse crap stains. It smells like gas from the lawnmower. It's taking up room all along the
Whatever.
sides. There's no reason to keep it.
Yeah, my she shed. It's my she gnome shed. But no, when we first moved here, we got a new couch. We furnished the house. But all the stuff that we moved with didn't really, fit.
Mm-hmm.
So we put it all in the shed. But what started happening is we moved here in May, and so it was spring, it was nice, and we would hang out in the shed. We would hang out on the couch outside.
That
in the shed.
is wild.
And to be honest, one time we're out there, we had a couple of beers, we had some snacks, we're hanging out, just meeping. We were meeping.
Meeping inside the shed.
Yep. And guess what? We took a nap out there.
That is crazy.
So, Jess, if you're listening, she knows.
And I get the sentimental value of it to a degree, but that couch is never going to be used again.
Don't worry about that. At any point in the near future, until it comes time for us to actually move, then we'll have a plan for the couch. Hey, that's a compromise. But anyways, yeah, so our gnome shed, and it was in our title, and I was really disappointed that I didn't even talk about it. We didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, we didn't even think about it.
But it is decorated. It does have Christmas lights on it.
That was my last finishing touch.
It was his finishing touch.
I did it all by myself. The ladder was all wobbly. Definitely could have gotten seriously injured, but I was like, I gotta put. It was right on the edging of the roof, and it was beautiful. It's great. I love it.
So, yeah, he decorated. And then we talked about his phobia. We talked about his phobia of pickles.
Yep.
And also,
Next topic.
breaking news, my Kiki Lou, my Kennedy,
Yep.
my niece, had her first pickle tonight. Yay, Kiki!
I mean, I'm happy for the little thing, because I love her.
Yeah, she nailed that thing. My sister sent me a video. So, yeah. But yeah, anywho, that's kind of the recap on last week. Tell us what you've been doing. You took a little adventure this week.
I did. This weekend, I left Thursday for West Virginia. For those of you who are coming over from the Academy TARP, this weekend was the big Operation Santa's Handlebars, and it was a great time with Tony and Mikey and Bobby and Smitty, and there was probably about 80 of us there, and we absolutely had an awesome time. We got bikes from all over West Virginia from so many different Walmarts. It was all put together by the Serve First Foundation, working with the Big Brother and Big Sister Foundation down in West Virginia. Went to a couple different locations, dropped off bikes for kids. Ended on Saturday with a big giveaway at the Dirty Birds baseball field.
The Dirty Birds.
Charleston Dirty Birds. Yeah, it was cool. I sent a picture of it.
Charleston?
Yeah,
South Carolina?
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Charleston, West Virginia.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I
I thought I said it wrong.
No.
Okay, got it.
I was just concerned, and I thought you had driven from West Virginia
No.
down to Charleston just for a drop off. Which
No.
like power to
No,
you.
they did we drove all over West Virginia. It was super awesome. Obviously being with everyone from TARP. We got to help out a food bank also in the city, and Serve First had an incredible donation to them. So again, huge shout out to Serve First and the Academy and Tony and Mikey and everyone involved. It was my first bike event, and I've always heard, lore stories and just how incredible these bike events are. Seeing the kids, they would come up, they would check in, and they would have, a bike size, and you'd say, Mike, you'd be like, hey, Bert, I need you. We need a, size 20 bike, and then we'd walk down the line, show them which ones they can choose from, and they'd be like, oh, I like this one, take it out, chat with them and their family, get them a helmet, send them along their way. And there was an awesome light show that was happening at the field. I sent a video of it to my dad, and he goes, is that the Dirty Birds Stadium? And I'm like, how did you know that, Stacy?
He knows every stadium,
It's the weirdest thing.
racetrack. Like
Yeah.
he knows.
I asked Corey, I was like, who plays here? And he's like, Dirty Birds. And I was like, great name, first off. And I told my dad, yeah. And he goes, oh, nice. And I'm like, how do you just know that?
I don't know.
It was a cool stadium, but no, the bike event was absolutely awesome. Super, super thankful to be a part of it. And just to see, these kids that unfortunately don't have a whole lot or might not be getting a lot for Christmas, to get a brand new bike, helmet, maybe some other gifts from Big Brother, Big Sister, spend some time with their family, maybe not having to worry about whatever, troubles or things that they're going through, is super, super, super awesome. And, it's very humbling to frankly have what we have. Like, we're very lucky. We're very, very lucky. We're not the world's richest people by any means, but we have, a roof over our heads. We're able to, get our loved ones Christmas gifts. We're able to help out where we can and help others when we can. And it's really, really cool. And I'm very, very thankful to have obviously been a part of it, to be able to go and get there and be a part of it and help out folks that, may need a little extra help during the holiday season or whenever it is. And again, just a massive, massive shout out to Tony and Mikey for spearheading all of these events, all of the fundraisers. You guys are the reason why it's so successful. We're obviously always going to be here to support Serve First, the Academy, in any and every single way possible. And I can't wait for more time to go by. So hopefully that we continue to be a part of it, raise more money, help more people, and just keep growing the amount of people that are willing to help, other people. And I think it's awesome.
No, I mean, it looked awesome. And when you were sending me pictures and kind of telling me about it, they did a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's your second one with TARP and all of the guys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that it was a little bit more special because it is the holiday season? So it's maybe, I think that no matter what, when it comes to helping anybody or like doing anything, it's like there's no perfect time.
Right.
But like, especially during the holiday season, is you really think about it and you think about like the kids and
Well, absolutely.
you think about kids that don't get presents or
Right. Yep.
their families aren't able to celebrate, or maybe people in the hospital, people that don't
Right.
have homes, or
Yeah.
in and out of foster care, things like that. Is just like you think about that, and if you can just put 3 gifts
Right.
out there for a kid, let alone a whole bike.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it definitely makes it a little bit more special because it's the holidays, because it's got that magic. Every kid growing up knows, like, oh, Santa brings all these gifts. Sometimes Santa can't bring you gifts, in that sense of like, there may not be a whole lot underneath the tree, or it may be something off Facebook Marketplace, or it may be, hey, we were able to get you a winter jacket when winter started. Like, and that's tough. And I feel for that. I wish I could, help make sure every single kid in the world has something to open up on Christmas. And obviously, maybe that's a goal of Serve First, and we continue to help out as many people as we can. And it's an incredible foundation doing incredible things, raising incredible money for good people who just need, some extra help. So no, I definitely think that the holiday season portion of it definitely gets the kids excited. And again, the field was all lit up. They had all sorts of vendors and food and Christmas music, and Santa was there, and Hammer was there dressed up as Santa too. So it was super cool. It was we drove around to all sorts of different Walmarts picking up bikes, and we had massive U-Hauls just stacked with bikes, and people brought air compressors to make sure tires were good, and there were other foundations there handing out helmets and other gifts. A lot of the sheriff's departments and police departments were heavily involved, and it was just super cool to see and be a part of. And I just hope that, we kind of talked about it last week of like what my goal was and your goals. One of my goals, again, was to build the Burt's Beat page and, brand. And I hope I continue to build that so I, as, Bert and my incredible community can continue to grow to only help those fundraisers and, events, whether it's, Operation, Santa's Handlebars in the wintertime, or if it's for the ice cream event in summer, or if they do, another gaming cart for children's hospitals. I'd love to, maybe, raise enough money one day to purchase my own, raise enough money to purchase a gaming cart for, the Children's Hospital in Vermont, like where you and I have been. Like, I think that'd be absolutely incredible to be able to give back.
No, absolutely. And I completely agree with that in the sense of, finding ways to give back and to give back to your community. And, that's a big thing of like, not just your community, but people. And if it's your family, if it's your community from your hometown, if it's the community that we live in now, to, right, your TARP community, to your Burt's Beat community, to our BK Lounge community. Yeah. It's like there's communities everywhere. And like I think of even like for myself is, I'm a golf professional. I have the community of like my section in the Carolinas. I also have a small community of female golfers that are in the PGA. Yep. There's so many different things that can be so impactful, especially if you put good minds together. Right. And I think that we've talked about that, and we talked about that honestly in our first episode of what we feel like our purpose is. Right, yeah. And you want to make a difference. You want to bring a level of peace, happiness, and laughter to people, and that's why, you change your career. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yep. And so for me, I want to be as impactful as I can in any situation that I insert myself into. And that can even translate to my job. Right. And so, like, if I'm giving lessons and I'm building relationships with my members or anybody, I want to be as impactful as I can. And it doesn't matter if it's, the interns that work for me, or if it's my co-assistants, or if it's even my boss. Right. Or if it's my membership, or it doesn't matter of like what it is. I always want to be a helping hand in any way. I want to be impactful. And, there's people that are welcoming to that idea, and there's people that aren't. Sure. And that's fine. And, but I think that, you going to this event, I think is incredible, especially this time of year. Yeah. And I think that the more that we do and the more that we focus on our future, I think we've both talked about is how can we do that more?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's, again, to be able to be in a position to help other people out, mm-hmm. Why not do it? There's absolutely no reason not to do it. And again, I don't think, maybe we do it enough as we should. Maybe you and I should take a Sunday and go help out somewhere. Uh-huh. I mean, it's simple. It's one day that could, make somebody's whole month, whole year. I try to give back to the BB community with giveaways, and we used to do Wounded Warrior Wednesdays quite often to try to raise money for the Wounded Warrior Project. I want to get back on, that boat, and just any way that we can help as, two people. Again, we have our own struggles in our own sense, but we've got it really good, and we're very lucky and we're very thankful for that. But I was kind of looking around at the ballpark yesterday and just looking around, seeing all the bikes and thinking, holy cow, all of this was able to be done by a group of people who put their minds together and said, how can we help out somebody? How can we help out people? But not only that, it all came from a video game community, which is, to me, is just absolutely wild. Like, to be able to raise this kind of money and help out all these different types of people in different parts of the country just by playing a video game, that's wild to me.
Yeah. And I mean, it also, when we talked last week and when we started talking about questions, and I've kind of sat with this all week, really, since it's been asked, but when somebody asked me about how I feel about you playing video games.
Yeah.
And what a so-called stigma is, and like what I think of that and how it makes me feel.
Right.
Is like, that's a prime example of the whole reason why I don't care what you do. And there is no stigma, and it's in people's like minds of like that there is this stigma because you do play video games, is it doesn't matter.
Right.
Is there's plenty of people that do a bigger job in some people's minds.
Sure.
And they don't give half of what you and every other streamer did this past weekend.
Right. No, absolutely.
So it's like, I have more faith and have less of a stigma feel to you and anybody else that streams, because you guys don't go belly up to whatever this so-called stigma is.
Right.
And neither would I.
Right.
And like, as a supporter and as your girlfriend and as somebody that appreciates it, and I, like I said, I could care less if you're the garbage man that's picking up the recycling on Mondays, is you gave back. You gave your time, you gave your energy, your money, you stepped away from your job for 3+ days. And at the end of the day is there's so many more people that can't say that they do that, and they make a heck of a lot more than the both of us combined.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's absolutely wild, and I feel like I don't say it enough, but then also I feel like I say it constantly. Is like, I'm just so thankful to be a part of it, because again, I've been playing video games since I can remember. I've been playing role-playing games on different games for many, 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 many years, and I've been a part of a lot of communities. And I look back, and there has never been a community that has done anything even relatively close to how TARP does it. And a lot of people who have never been a part of TARP look at it and be like, that is a weird way to run a community. These rules are super weird. Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? And it's all for efforts in achieving all of these goals. And they do it so well, and they absolutely crush it every single time. And it just continues to grow. And again, to think it's from a video game community that doesn't do it like anybody else. I feel like there are so many communities that know of TARP. TARP's a very large, popular community, but a lot of communities need to stop, look, and say, how can we be like them? Because TARP is doing so many amazing, great things, and maybe some communities don't want to do those, and they just want to worry about what they need to, but it's never, and it's not just about us as individuals, as players, as streamers, as staff members in that community. It is truly about that mission of helping others, bridging the gap, and just being the best we can be. There's no toxicity, there's no hate, there's no drama. It's so stress-free, and for me and a lot of other people, it's a huge outlet, kind of like what we've talked about before. But it's such a good feeling to be a part of something so good and wholesome and true and authentic, because the internet's a terrible place, and I say it on my stream constantly, is if we can make the internet just a little bit better of a place every single day, then why wouldn't we do it? Why add to the chaos? Why add to the hate? Why add to the drama when we can just be true, authentic people trying to help one another go through whatever crap we're going through and get out through it on the other side?
Right. And I mean, really, you think about the way that you looked at it before you entered the TARP community. And like, I remember when you were changing servers and changing communities and doing that, and you know, you were on a platform before where you were cussing,
Yeah.
you were drinking,
Yep.
and it's just how you thought that you were going to get that viewership.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
thought
you,
that's how it was supposed to be done.
right. You that's what you thought was engaging with, you know, the people that were watching you.
Right.
And no matter where you go, is like you're going to find the market that's going to engage with what you want, your beliefs, and you were just kind of condoning to what those people wanted to watch at the
Right.
time.
Yeah, it was the environment because again, everyone was doing it, and I thought, oh, it's Grand Theft Auto. It's this big, awful, nasty, inappropriate game. That's how you're supposed to operate. And then when we had the transition to TARP, it was like, hey, this is family friendly, no cussing, no alcohol use, no drug use, nothing of that nature. No innuendos, no inappropriate jokes. It was like, hang on, like how is this going to work? Like I was super nervous.
Yeah.
And then again, once you get into it, you're like, wow, this is actually not that hard at all.
No.
And it's so much easier and more stress free than that, because I feel like when people are cussing and getting angry at a video game and taking it way too seriously, it just added to that toxicity and hate, which just bred and caused issues. And there's none of that. It's wild. It's crazy.
And to be honest, like I'm a firm believer that it's just a mindset. And so like that was something when you were transferring into that and you were kind of trying to like adapt and like you were trying to like catch up with the things that you're saying and thinking about it, and at that point when you're thinking so much it becomes hard to engage with the people watching you.
Absolutely.
But like I think about that and I am guilty at all costs when it comes to I am a sailor.
Yeah, she is.
I
And
will-
you've behaved really well on the pod, and like I don't think we need to like watch our mouths by any means,
No.
but yeah, I don't think you've cussed once.
No. But like that's the thing is I'm a sailor. I swear, I cuss. I'm vulgar. I'm so vulgar, and like the boys at work will be the first one to be like, yeah, she has the worst mouth out of all of us.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, is I work with kids, and I've
Right.
always worked with kids, and so like as much as you don't think about it, is there's always been a switch.
Yeah.
So like if I'm teaching a camp for a full day, I'm not going to be out there saying the stuff that I'm going to say to the boys in the
Right.
back office.
Right. No, absolutely.
And like
Because
even
you have that awareness. Some people truly don't have that awareness.
no, and like that's the thing is like I've always like been big into swearing because it proves a point, and I will say that towards my dad because he was like, a pretty girl like you shouldn't have to swear like that, and I was always like,
Watch me.
watch me, and I'll come out with the worst things out of this mouth. And like at that point it was like I was a tomboy, and we've talked about that. It's like my brother could be hunting and be with like my uncles and my dad, or my dad's hunting buddy, and they're out there swearing, they're peeing on trees. And I'm like, guess what? I can do the same thing.
Yeah. Watch this.
Watch this. And then just start swearing, and I'll try and find a way to stand and pee. I don't know. I was like, I can do anything that you can do,
Right.
but better,
Facts.
including swearing.
Facts. Can I ask, was there any non-swear words growing up that you couldn't say that was a swear? Like, I'll give you an example. In my house, if I ever said suck, or like, oh, that team sucks, you would have swore I said every F-bomb variation in the entire world.
Yeah.
Was there anything like that in the Hamblett house?
No.
Just swears in general?
Yeah. I mean, we're an Irish family, but I don't know. That's what we do is we swear. But my mom is also a swearer, and she will say, no, I'm not. No, she is.
Yeah, Stacey, you really are.
She's got a mouth on her. My sister has a mouth on her.
Yeah.
My dad will say he doesn't. I know behind closed doors and away from his girls, he has a mouth on him. So that's fraudulent if he says he doesn't.
Yeah, this was when I was like super young, because we never really swore much, unless, I don't even think, no. We didn't really swear much like in the house, but when the entire family was together, like the extended family, like at camp, that's when swears were happening. I remember camping as a kid being like, wait, I can't say suck at home, but at camp, this is what's happening. Granted, all of my dad's uncles, cousins, they were all drinking, playing cards. Like, there was no rules camping.
Right.
But I just didn't know if there was like a non-swear word that was like bad. For me, it was suck. Like I remember somebody was over at the house and he was a Braves fan. I was like, Braves suck. And my mom sent me to my room.
Yeah, not that I can remember. I know that for a fact if like swears or any words were directed towards anybody, that was a bigger deal.
See, that's like we've talked about this. Like I swear, obviously being in the military, I swear a ton. And we got on the topic, I think I brought it up because I don't even know how it came up. But like some people will, I'm going to say the word.
Say the word.
Yeah, we're adults here. Like some people like will call each other like, oh, you're a bitch. Or like say that to their significant other in like a joking way. Like I told Kenny, I was like, there is nothing on this planet Earth that I could ever go through to make me look at you in the face and call you that. Like that to me is the worst of the worst. Like I could never say it jokingly. I could never say it angrily. Like I'll never swear at you. I don't understand how some people do it.
And in my toxic mind, I looked at him and I said, all right, game on. Like, I bet you I can get you to swear at me.
No, I can't. Like like the thought of me calling you a bitch literally is disgusting to me.
Yeah.
Like that to me, again, I grew up with my grandfather Bert, who was like the top tier gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody knew who he was. He was the kindest, sweetest old man ever. Was always a flirt with all the girls, like was always super kind. And like my dad was the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And like I never saw my grandfather or my father swear, especially towards women. Like my grandfather had a bar in the basement. When the guys were down there, the adults would swear. When like the ladies would come down, there was no swearing.
Right.
So like to think of like people even jokingly.
But that's why your father is a distinguished gentleman.
He is a distinguished gentleman. But even like cuz some people do it as like a joke. Like oh stop like oh my god, you're such a bitch. Like that is too much. Way too much even in the joking manner.
Yeah. No. I say it loosely, but I won't ever say it to my parents or my family.
Yeah. I don't know how it's I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. We got off topic and I kind of like that. That was nice.
You get a little breather from talking about community and heavy stuff and
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a tough couple weeks. I mean, in the sense of just having that is like we have searched for community at times. We have felt an abundance of community, and especially when you're doing charity work, is you start to have a heavy heart.
Yeah.
And so like there's plenty of instances, and I could honestly talk hours about it. But like that's also how I was raised.
Yeah.
Is to do stuff like you just did.
Yeah.
And like my mom's mom, my nan, was, in my opinion, the number one reason why I always had that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
It's like she's the lady that's driving in her car with granola bars, waters, all of that, just on the odd chance.
Yep.
She's going to see somebody on the side of the road and she'll go and give them like a care package.
That's funny that you mentioned that because I just totally forgot. Like my mom's mom, my mem, she used to drive for Meals on Wheels, and I would always go with her, and that was so long ago.
Yeah.
And because I never really did a whole lot of like not necessarily fundraisers, but like community engagement stuff when I was a kid until I got into the military. And then we would do stuff for like the local community. But like you mentioned your nan, and then like I was like, oh shoot, yeah.
Yeah, she used to do for her church. She did for years, and my mom could probably write in right now on how many years she did it. But she did a coat exchange, and in Vermont, like they would do is they would have this giant donation for coats, hats, mittens, boots, for people that truly needed it in the winters.
Because I remember seeing like growing up at home like mitten trees. Yeah. Okay.
And so it was Kathy's Coat Ministry. So, and my great aunt, she kind of took it over when my grandmother passed away, but it was huge, and I just remember like that was just a big part of what we did.
Right.
And she did it even when she was sick, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And like my mom would have, her clients at her salon drop stuff
Yeah, yeah,
off.
yeah.
I remember my mom would have her whole back seat filled with coats, and like that was just like a big part of like us. And I will say that I have a firm believing that our perspective and our family changed after I was sick as a kid.
You're right.
But
It gives that perspective that you never thought you were ever going to experience.
correct.
Yeah.
And like it's the same thing with like my sister and like all of us, every single one of us. Like my brother, he used to work for a landscaping business when he lived in Vermont, and he would go, and when he had a minute when he did all of his accounts, is he would go and plow out old people's that couldn't shovel their driveways.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And so like things like that. And my sister and her husband were foster parents for a couple of years, and this time a year they got their first foster kid. I forget how many years ago, but they had a little girl on Christmas Day that spent Christmas with us.
That's crazy.
And like just things like that. And like we talk about community and we talk about things that, make your heart bigger, but in a good way.
Right.
And I genuinely believe this time of year makes it feel a lot more special.
No, absolutely. And you think of like you see news stories or you see like videos on Instagram or TikTok of like there are so many people that really don't have much themselves that are taking so much more of their own time when they could be maybe working more or doing something more for themselves, and yet they're still like, no, I need to go do this, or I need to go help this person, and it's just like there are so many opportunities, and I feel like there's a lot of things that a lot of people can do that will help in simple ways, whether it's like rounding up when you check out of Lowe's or whatever. Like all last week I rounded up. Like granted it was just a couple of bucks, but I'm like, I mean, it can't hurt, right?
Right.
Like whatever else it is. And you mentioned, the coats and stuff. And again, I remember with my grandmother, she used to run bingo at St. Francis School for the school. And I think back on it, I'm like, she wasn't getting paid.
No.
None of the ladies that was working there were getting paid.
No.
Like, again, just another way to give back to whatever that community is.
Right.
And so, no, like you said, there are communities literally everywhere.
Right.
Like just when you started rattling off, like, oh, TARP, BB, the BK Lounge, work, friend, like there's so many communities that you can do so much with. It's just a matter of taking out the time or the money or the effort and doing it. And it's very rewarding. It definitely is. And I think we should maybe for next year for the BK Lounge podcast do some sort of toy drive or something like that. I think that'd be awesome.
I also think like there's so many things that are relatable to us, and like the things that we find important is like even the past couple of weeks you spent a Christmas overseas.
Yep.
And you were in the Middle East when you were full service, you went on deployment. And even something like that is you have somebody over there right now.
Yep.
That means a lot to you.
Yep.
And it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy being away from his family, all of that. And like he has kids, he has a wife, and he's going through a hard time.
Yeah.
Over there. And so like you think about things like that have special meaning to you, that have special connection to you.
Yeah.
And same thing for me. Is like we had limited communication. I got a Christmas card from you with a Polaroid picture of you in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But like it's not like we could FaceTime and sit and have like
right. Constantly, right?
Because
I only talk to my parents once a week on Sundays.
Right.
And no, that's a great point, because I remember Julie was a school teacher, Julie Greeno, and for Veterans Day, she had her entire like 5th grade class, her and Joey. They were both teachers. They all had their students, whoever wanted to participate, write like Veterans Day cards, and they shipped them over to us. And all of my guys and gals over there were like, this is so cool. Like, this is awesome. My mom sending, care packages over to me with extra stuff for all of my, troops. And like that stuff is huge. It makes you feel like you're not so far away. Like people still do care. It's not out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. And that's another great point.
And
great point.
I think that, especially with, today when we talk about community is, you know, you have been in those shoes where you're over there, you've been in the shoes when you come back,
Yeah.
and even have people in your life, and like in anything, and it's not just because you're military, but more importantly because you're military, because that's a huge community in itself.
Absolutely.
But in those moments, sometimes you don't feel it.
No, 100%.
You don't feel the community, you don't feel the support.
Yeah.
And so anything that anybody can do, let alone us, if we have
Yeah.
a platform and we have a business, we have all of that, is like, why wouldn't we
Do something.
do something?
Yeah, 110%.
Because
Absolutely.
in those moments before, you know, you had BB, before we had the BK Lounge, before we had all of this, is you were that person
Yeah.
that were like, I could use a community.
Yeah.
So like there are ways that, you know, the more that I think about it and the more that we create this platform is how do we make it better for everybody that watches or
Right.
listens and stuff like that. And you know, we have people that write into us that is just like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for just being two humans that we can connect with.
Right.
And like even words like that mean more than
Yeah.
anything. And
Right.
like they mean a lot to us, let alone to have somebody actually write it out and send it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? So just community in itself, it's everywhere, and I guess it's more or less this time of year that you want to do more.
Right.
And like I've never been somebody that's big into like New Year's resolutions, stuff like that.
Right.
But like I am a planner and I do want to take 2025 as a good insert to do more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree, and I think that's a great thought, a great way to start off a new year. Again, I've never been really a New Year's resolution guy whatsoever, but no, I think that's a great thing that you know we can do as you know individuals, as a couple, as you know somebody that has you know a small platform that we can use and just kind of build from there. I think that's awesome. And again, if there are foundations that you know our listeners, our viewers are big on, we'd love to know on you know what you all do to give back to your communities. Maybe you've been in a community that's been given back to. Like, share us your story, share us your thoughts, share us your foundations, because I think that's a great way to kind of connect even more with you know our viewers, our listeners, and see what's important to you all. And I think that's something that we can definitely take with and run with, you know, in the future.
Right. And it's just like we've had a lot, especially recently, a lot of instances where it shows up and being like we have people that either need us or we need them as well.
Right.
And so like
I just need to run to the bathroom real quick.
okay. So I'm going to hang out with the people.
Hang out with the people.
All right, I'll talk to the people since he's got to go real quick. But anybody have anything for me? We'll save this conversation for when he gets back. No, he's not going to take the mic with him. We already talked about that. What do you guys got for me? What do you guys got for me? I'm in my feels. I know I'm in my feels. Yeah, he does have a tiny bladder. For those that are listening tomorrow, Nick had to take a bathroom break because he has a tiny bladder. We always prepare before we start this because it's usually over an hour, and I always say you gotta go, but no. So. Also, he went to the charity event this weekend, and I will give a shout out to Georgia because she's a listener of him and us, and she packed a box of snacks from Canada because he talked about how we got a box from, it was like a bunch of Asian snacks, but she packed a box from Canada because I used to travel there for hockey, and I'm talking about our snack box.
Snack box, Canadian snack box.
Yeah, so she packed a box full of snacks, and I was super excited.
Yeah.
Cracked into them last night. I was going through. I knew some of them. I knew the Aero bars, all of it. I was like, this is electric. And he was like, I haven't heard of any of these. And I was like, because you've never lived your life.
Okay, that seems aggressive, but yes, thank you very much, Georgia. I appreciate it. I know Kenny was very excited, and the first question Kenny said was, "Did you open it?" And I said, "No, I didn't."
Yeah, he can't be a spoiler of that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
I would have been very upset.
I know. She gave it to me. I put it in the trunk, and I left it. Didn't touch it once.
Yeah, I would have been very, very upset.
I was thinking about it one night, like, I could go for a sweet treat, but I didn't touch it.
But yeah, I completely forgot where we left off.
Did you out me to the people as to what's going on?
No, I said that I told you before that if you need to go to the bathroom, that you need to go before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We ate at what kind of place was it?
We went to the Christmas market, and
Yeah.
it was at a brewery.
It was at a
But
brewery.
it's a German brewery, so he had
Stomach's a little upset. I had a beer.
he had a beer.
I had a
Yeah,
beer, and I
big
don't drink beer.
He's a big beer guy.
I had a beer. We had a big old Bavarian pretzel
Mm-hmm.
and
Sausage.
sausage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, no. I was thinking Georgia for the box.
Oh, yep. Shout out Georgia.
All dressed chips,
Yep.
electric. A lot of gummies, electric. I was very happy with that.
Yeah.
Very happy with that. And maybe we'll get to a point where like we have a PO and people can send their snacks.
I have a PO for the BB, but people send it to it and they say that it's like not working. And like go to the post office and they're like, yeah, it's active. So I got to figure that out. Maybe we can do a joined one.
Yeah, they would send me stuff.
They would send you a lot of stuff, I know.
People say that, but I don't think they're actually sending you anything.
They're just saying, hey, your PO box isn't working.
Yeah.
No, G tried to send something. And again, we always do this every episode. For those of you who are listening just on Apple or Spotify, it is filmed live every Sunday or most Sundays over on our twitch.tv/the BK Lounge Pod. That is our Twitch channel, and it's filmed live. So if you hear us chatting with people or answering questions, it is because we are live on Twitch.
We are live on Twitch. But yeah, no, we had a good day. It was a lazy day, kind of recouping
Yeah.
from you being gone and all of that. But yeah, so doing community service
That's right.
for the community, do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids. For the kids. That's Tarp's tagline. # for the kids. And we
Gotta
love
do
it.
for the kids.
We love it.
I did get a shirt. I got a shirt. That was huge.
Yep.
Very excited.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of people were asking about you. Is your lady here? Is Kenny here?
Maybe I'm a fixture of your imagination.
Well, I think Bobby made a comment of like, I still don't think she's real.
Yeah. Well, Bobby doesn't think I'm real.
Yeah.
I'm not real.
This is AI.
This is
My
it.
entire life is so Kenny, the real Kenny actually lives in like Australia and she's playing golf out there and I just fabricate everything.
That's kind of weird and creepy and freaky.
Yeah.
That's why I think you're weird.
That's why you think I'm weird?
I think that's one of many reasons, but yeah.
So
Yeah.
speaking of filming it live, next Sunday we're actually going to be in Vermont. We head up north on Friday. We're driving up for Christmas with our families. So we are going to pre-record an episode this week, and that'll be posted live for everyone on Sunday at our normal start time. So it will not be live on Sunday, but we should. Yeah, we'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back for the next Sunday. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all those for next week's episode. But
Are you ending this?
no, not at all. I was just plugging it for.
You keep plugging it, and the people think that you're probably ending this, but we were just in the middle of a conversation.
Well, I just want to make sure it's plugged. Sometimes I feel like we don't plug it enough. Like we never plug our.
Renee does her job.
Renee does do her job.
She deserves the world.
She does.
So-
Her bonus is in the mail. I sent it like a year and a half ago or something.
You're so rotten. Give it back to your community.
I am.
She holds up your community.
She does. She does. She is the backbone to the Burt's Beat.
I know.
Yeah. I do give back every Christmas. I get them something different. Last year I got them all black BB cups with the BB logo and it says staff underneath it and then their name.
Do you tell the people what you got me one too?
I did, yeah.
Well, Renee got me one.
It was Renee's idea, yes. And Renee designed all of those gifts last year.
That she got for her. She had to get one for herself.
She did.
That's this year's improvements of the gift giving.
Yeah, Renee, you don't know what I got the staff this year, did you?
She better not know.
I don't think so.
She better not know.
I don't think anybody knows.
Shh.
Okay, see? Look.
See, yeah.
Ain't nobody
she
know.
doesn't know.
Ain't nobody know.
For anybody watching, she doesn't know.
She doesn't know. Oh, just kidding. Rob knows.
What? Like, why do you do that? Like, why? Like,
When
why?
I was on the phone with my parents coming back from West Virginia talking about Christmas, I wanted to tell them what their gift was.
No, if you were to have done that, I would have been mad.
I know.
And I would have flown home, and you can drive with the dogs.
I know. I wanted to tell them so bad. I'm so excited. It was a great idea on your part for the gift.
Yeah. And this year, so this is our first like real Christmas together, and I wrapped the gifts. But it was weird because everything's from Jensen and Nick. So when I'm doing our parents' gifts, it's like,
Oh, that's
we
right.
do mom and dad. Okay. But on the odd chance, if I'm gonna be like, oh, let's do our parents' names, it's like
still the same.
still Rob and Stacy, and then Rob and Stacy, or mom and dad, or mom and dad.
We might just have to color coordinate the wrapping. Like one is for Hamblets, one is for.
I did do that, so I color coordinated the wrapping. So
Yeah.
like anything that we do with my family, I have the tiny green trees
Got it.
and the black with the gold reindeers.
Got it.
For your parents, it's the Christmas tree farm with the red and green and like wicker baskets with like
Gotcha.
stuff
Okay.
in
So
them.
there's it's good. It's
Yes.
good.
So,
You're on
but
top of it.
when I did mom, I'll do R for your last name and H in the corner for my last
Very
name.
good. I've got Renee has a question here. Nick, have you got any stocking stuff yet for her? And yes, I have.
Yeah, I got some stocking. Yeah, and I don't know where you're hiding it. And if you have a hiding spot in this house that I don't know about, I'm gonna be mad.
I'm surprised you haven't.
I
I
haven't
said.
snooped.
Well, I mean, we don't really have many places to snoop. I feel like.
Yeah, you could put it in Jess's room. Then I would be pissed because then
I
you're
feel
using
like-
her. Then you're using her to hide
I thought
stuff from me,
hide stuff from you. No, I thought you were going to be using Jess's room.
like your fast food.
Right. So do you want to know a secret?
What?
No, there's no gifts here for you.
There's no gifts here.
Not a single gift is here for you.
I bet. Because they're all gift cards.
No, I had everything shipped to my parents.
Yeah, I actually figured that you were gonna do that.
Yeah.
I
Just don't
had
have to travel with it.
I have everything here because I like to wrap it and I like for it to not be a thing when I'm home.
Yeah.
Granted, I also have 2 nephews and a niece that are
Right.
like a full-time job when I'm home.
Right.
But we do have plans to hang out with our friends. We're gonna do White Elephant
Yep.
and hang out with them one night, and then we'll do Christmas Eve, spend the day with your family.
Yep.
Christmas Day we'll spend with my family, and maybe
I feel like we should do a dinner with everybody after Christmas.
yeah,
Well,
we
just
have
kidding.
we have
No,
like
we haven't.
we have like 4 to 5 days
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah, we'll
yeah.
figure it out.
I don't know, but yeah, so the community. See, he gets that's what he actually did, and I'm gonna talk really close to this. He went and cried because we were talking about heavy stuff in the community, in our communities, and the things that make us whole, and he had to go cry about it, and that's why he had to take a quick commercial break for himself because he has to go cry to his mom. So.
So. No.
I love talking to this thing because then I can avoid you like this and you're covered by my really cool hat.
She's so sweet to me. So sweet to me. I love it. Oh, how I'm so lucky to have you.
Oh, I love you so much. That's what you sound like.
No, I don't. I don't sound like that.
He admitted to the fact that he listened to last week's episode, both there and back from the event, and he said he was hysterically laughing both times that I said, "Oh, I love you so much." Because he literally sounds like that.
I don't sound like that.
How do you know? It's my ears.
Yeah, because I've listened to it and I hear it out of my own ears, and I hate the way I sound. First off, but no, you make me. The people know I'm a guy that's in tune with my emotion.
Oh, everyone knows that.
Right, but you make it out to seem like there's a stiff breeze and I have to go to the bedroom and cry.
You do.
I don't. See, this is what you're doing.
Oh, see?
Frog in the throat.
Sorry to the people listening tomorrow for him feeling he's not like that.
I don't cry often.
You cry.
When was the last time I cried?
I don't know, probably yesterday. Just a minute ago in the bathroom.
Wrong.
You want to cry?
No, I don't want to cry. If I want to cry, I'm going to cry. I'm 1 and 2 in my emotions. If I need a good cry, I'll get a good cry out.
Josh thinks you were in there crying. I know she knows that you were in there crying.
But I wasn't. I got no tears.
You sopped him up. You probably used Bo. Oh, my dog, I love you so much. I think I love you so much. Like,
You're outrageous.
but yeah, for the people that need a community for crying, this guy,
I don't cry a lot.
he's very welcoming.
You
to
literally
cry.
make me sound so soft and just like...
That's not my point, because that's when you turn me into this really mean person.
You just told the people that I had to take a break and I went crying to my mom.
Yeah, that's not mean. That's the truth.
I
We
didn't.
talked about that last week. You want some girl just being like, "Oh,
And
it's
again,
okay,
it's
la, la,
about the
la."
delivery.
What's this? I
A
don't know.
pitcher delivering the ball to home plate.
Yeah. Thank goodness for the people that are listening tomorrow that they don't have to see that.
Oh my God.
But yes, we're excited to go home. We're excited to see our families, to be with our people. It's always good.
Nice break.
I'm excited to see your parents. I haven't seen your family since you moved.
Yeah, that is
I-
true.
I have not seen your parents since we moved.
That is true.
I talk to your dad quite frequently, though.
Yeah, yep.
I think I text your dad more at work than I text you when I'm at
I
work.
wouldn't be surprised.
Well, when he has something to say, he has something to say. When I have something to say to him, I'm going to say it. I get to see you when I come home,
Okay, fair, I guess.
right?
Yeah.
And I can't be just sitting on the couch, chopping it up with your dad on the phone. You'd be like, oh, who are you talking to? Oh, your dad. Because then you'll be all upset. And then you'll go cry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
you'd be crying.
My 4th cry session of the day.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Hey, I can't help it. I have a great relationship with your
I'm
parents.
not saying unbelievable that you talk to my dad. I'm saying unbelievable that you make me sound like I cry 4 times a day.
You're in tune.
I am in tune, but do not cry 4 times a day or when there is a stiff breeze.
I don't know.
You do know, you live with me,
What?
that you know I don't cry that much.
I don't know that.
Oh my God.
I don't know what you do in this room when I'm not around or outside of Sundays at 6 o'clock. I don't know what you're doing. Hey. I don't know.
Outrageous.
I'm not that disconnected with my emotions. You think that I'm some like sergeant and I'm like, you cry when I'm around. No. I cry.
Yeah, everybody cries. It happens.
Hey, we're crying. We're crying. You want to cry?
No, I don't want to cry. If I wanted to cry, I'd cry.
Okay.
I can't get this like out my throat, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. But we also said that we were going to start the conversation about our similarities.
Okay. This is a great way to show that you're not a sergeant. What are some of our similarities that are positive? That
do
are
you
like
mean?
like feel good positives and like things that are good that how we're similar.
I think we're different, but I think we have similarities.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Like, I'll start it off. How about that?
Okay.
I think one of our great similarities are that we're both loyal as all hell.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, extremely loyal, especially to one another. Like, there is never a time, never a thought of any question of, like, your loyalty to me. And you've shown me that. Like, we've talked about it before of, like, when we have tough conversations or things aren't going great for us at a time, at a day, whatever it is, there's never that feeling of, like, oh, no, she's just going to get up and leave, or, oh, no, this isn't going to work out. There's always positive conversation afterwards of, like, how we're going to get to where we want to go,
Yeah.
where we're going to go to get there. And it's not just like, oh, times are tough, that's that. Because I've never really had that. We've talked about that before of we both know what we want. We both have our goals together and we're going to get there and we're going to figure it out.
Yes. We are similar in that sense. We are loyal to each other. We're loyal to our relationship. We're loyal to our beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that's because of the things that we've gone through, but I also think that's just like, that's what we both always craved in a relationship.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you're stuck with me and you don't have an option.
Yeah.
So you have to be loyal.
Yeah.
Because I'm crazy.
You're not crazy.
I can be crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not one of them crazy girls, because if you did some shady stuff, you would be crying.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would be crying.
Absolutely.
Not because, like, I would hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm. But there would never be a reason for that, right? Because that's not
Ever.
the kind of person who I am.
Ever. Never. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here in Charlotte if I even thought twice about that.
I know.
What else?
You tell me. That was mine.
Our loyalty. That was... You just snaked that from me?
No, you were like,
Cut it out. I think some of our similarities... we're very family-oriented people.
Yep.
I think that where we come from is very important to the both of us, and maintaining healthy relationships with those in our life that we continuously need to focus on, without ever having to slight it for you or for me.
Right.
There's times where, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like, I need to go and either be alone, I need to be with my friends, I need to sit on the phone and talk aimlessly to my sister for an hour.
Yep.
As soon as my eyes open in the morning.
Yep.
And there's no judgment.
Mm-mm. I mean, how many times have you come home from work and sat in the driveway for a half hour on the phone with whoever, whether it's Mariah, your sister, your mom? Yeah, I don't ever be like, what is she doing? That's weird. No.
Yeah, so I would have to say, like, the respect of our relationships in our lives, because it's the same thing with you and the boys. Like, even if you're on the phone with Joss, or you are playing games after you stream with, like, George and Dan and, like, the guys, and, you know, doing stuff like that, or, like, anything like that, is, like, I have full respect for your relationships, and I would never be like, you need to give me attention in this moment. It's like, no, you give me plenty of attention.
Right.
That's not a negative either.
Okay.
Just don't look
that
at
was
me.
like the...
Oh, panic.
Yeah.
Oh. No, you give me plenty of attention, and I'm also not like an attention seeker, so I don't have issues with that.
Right.
And it would be the same thing as, like, honestly, it happened this weekend. Is you're like, I'm going to come home. I had some family stuff going on this week, and it was a roller coaster of emotions. And there was one night that I was on FaceTime with my family, and we got some news, and it was emotional and it was hard, and I told them that, like, it was just a hard moment.
Right.
And you're like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to come home.
Yeah.
But for me and what I needed is I needed to go to work.
Yep.
I didn't want to sit in this house. I didn't want to sit and be sad. I didn't want to sit and cry. I didn't want to do that.
Right.
And so I was like, you're going to come home and you're going to wait for me to get home.
Right.
And I don't know when that is. I
Right.
just need to do like my thing, and I'll see you tomorrow night when you get home from the event. But you're there, you have a purpose. You're going to help people. You're there at a charity event. Like,
Right.
go and do that.
Yep.
And I don't think that you're choosing something over choosing me, and I don't feel like you're not here for me.
Right.
That's not what I felt.
Right.
It's just like there were bigger things than you coming home in that moment.
Yep.
So it's just like I feel like we both have a lot of respect for that, and
Yeah.
like if it were ever a situation where you're like, I need you,
Right.
I would be there.
Absolutely. I was just thinking the same thing of like if you yourself actually needed me and were struggling and you were to say, hey, even if I wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna come home, if you just hit me up out of the blue of like, hey, I really need you home right now, I'd be like, all right, I'm on my way. Like that's, and again, I think that kind of goes back to the loyalty and respect of us. Like again, you're the person I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with, and like that's something. That's something big. And to not be there for your other person like that, like then what are you doing?
Right.
And you talk about like family and you know how our families interact and how we're very close with our families, and like that just gets me excited about like our future family, like 110%. Like the way I see you as an aunt and like a sister and like a daughter, it's just again makes me very, very excited.
And
I
like
feel like I'm very, very lucky.
we also don't abuse that. Like we don't abuse the fact that like you would do anything for me and I would do anything for you.
Right, where it's like, oh, hey, I'm having a tough day, like I need you to leave work now,
right,
and like do that like weekly,
right,
like selfishly.
right.
Right. No, absolutely.
And like if it ever got to that point, is like we have very clear communication. So like
That we do.
we had really hard conversations before we became a couple. And I would say that plays into a huge factor of our relationship.
Yeah.
Because there was, and we talked about it before, but there was a moment where I was point blank, like, you were like, I'm going to come down and visit you.
Right.
And I was like, no, you're not.
Right.
And it wasn't because of any other reason other than, like, in that moment, I didn't need that.
Right.
I needed to, like, figure myself out.
Yep.
I needed to figure out my emotions. And, like, it's always very clear conversations, and we are very susceptible to be honest in hard conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Is because we have them. We have
Right.
them quite frequently, and
Yeah.
we have found ourselves jumping into a relationship and moving in together and all of that, even though like we
had that baseline friendship.
had a baseline friendship and like all of that, but like we never went through like a dating phase or like,
Oh, hey, come spend the night at my house for a couple of days. Like,
Right.
all right, I'll see you tomorrow or whatever it was. It was, hey, we're away from each other right now. We're trying to get to the same spot. And then when we got to the same spot, it's like,
yeah,
here we are.
it's like from being friends to like being married overnight.
Yeah.
It's like you woke up and you're like, everything in my world is now revolved around this relationship, and how do I manage that? It's
Right.
not like figuring out how to manage it through time,
Right. That adjustment period was never there.
but like because of some of our similarities, it has allowed us to kind of not fold.
No, absolutely. Because again, like I remember talking to you about us and like the move down, and I made a comment of like, hey, like this is big for both of us. There's no, and I don't know if I remember having the conversation. I don't remember my exact words, but I pretty much said like, there's no other option. Like if we do this, this is our life.
Correct.
Like I want this. I know you want this. Let's figure it out together. There is no like, oh yeah, now this really didn't work out, or I don't really want to figure this out. This is getting too tough. Like that's that. Like there was. I remember having that conversation before I moved down of like, there's nothing after this.
Right. So like those are some of like I feel like our bigger similarities.
Right.
And like you said, we jumped into it. We jumped into this like very like huge relationship because we both always knew that like we had so much love for each other,
Right.
but we didn't know how to manage it. And we were also at very different parts of our
Very
lives.
different parts. Absolutely. Not only physically, but like within our own minds and lives
Right.
in and of its own.
Right. And like we have so much time to talk about like our true like past and stuff like that.
Right.
And we have a lot of time to talk about our relationships in the past. We have time to talk about pretty much everything that really truly makes us us. And, you know, that was a huge reason of why we titled our podcast today based off of like our community,
Right.
and saying like, you know, what it truly means to us to have a community is because of these reasons. And, you know, we spent the first portion of this podcast talking about, you know, what you've done recently to like why giving back to our communities is so important,
Right.
and charity work, and, you know, just giving,
Right.
and just kind of some of the hard times that we've experienced recently. And like, to be honest, it was a hard week.
Yeah.
It was a heavy week.
Yep. And it doesn't help when your person isn't there.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so like it does help to have communication. And, you know, we'll probably talk about a lot more on Wednesday about like those similarities, because we want to talk about a little bit more about our past.
Yep.
And like I mentioned earlier, is I was sick as a kid.
Yep.
You also got sick as a kid.
Yep.
And we actually had the same thing. So
Yeah.
we both had meningitis. Did you have bacterial too?
I had viral.
You had viral. So
Yes.
he had viral meningitis and I had bacterial meningitis that actually put me right at the brink of no more.
Right.
So, and I was 8 years old. And how old were you?
I was a freshman in high school and I had it.
Yeah.
So 13 or 14.
Yeah. So I was 8 years old, and I'll kind of go into more details for next week's episode. But really the biggest thing is community really became a lot to me and my family, and you and your family, when we experienced something like that. And I know that for a fact, for especially not just my mom and my dad, but my brother and my
Right.
sister and my aunts and uncles, and
Yeah.
you know, everybody in my life is. I went into a massive brain surgery when I was 8 years
Right.
old, and the whole town filled up that waiting room.
Yeah.
At that point, it was Fletcher Allen.
Right.
So it's now UVM Medical Center, but it was a journey.
Yeah.
And it still is.
Yeah, I mean, it I can't imagine what kind of things it changed, you know, for you and your family. And again, it's still things to a degree that, you know, you're still rolling with, that now we're rolling with, and you know, not necessarily being affected by, but just being reminded of, in a sense.
And like it does humble you in moments, because there's plenty of times where it's very like forefront in my mind, and then there's moments where I'm like, oh, I totally forgot that
Right.
this was part of us. And,
Right.
But like, you're never truly separated from it. And at this point, it's been 20 years.
Right.
It's 20 years this spring.
Yeah, you're getting old.
Yeah. So it's been a crazy ride, but it's something that we also share. We share a lot of differences, and like, even though our parents are named the same thing, is they also grew up together. So
Yeah.
your dad went to school with my
Dad's side. Yeah.
dad's side of the family. So my uncles
Yep.
were the same age as your dad.
Yep.
And so they knew Bert.
Yep.
They knew, like, we have more ties from our past than anything.
Right.
And kind of like our backgrounds is something that I'm excited to talk
Yeah.
about.
No, I think Wednesday will be a great one. But
And we always, and like, I usually dive into it, especially with my mom and my dad and, you know, my siblings. It's a reason to be thankful every year.
yeah, life,
And-
like we kind of talked about last night, life is scary.
Mm-hmm.
You never know at any second of what could possibly happen, good or bad.
Good or bad. And, you know, it's very important to remind yourself and remind others around you that life is way too short.
Yep.
So we're going to end it out on that. And then we're going to leave you guys with a little bit to hold on to until next week.
Yes.
But yeah, we are here for you. We're excited. We are happy it's the holiday season. And if anybody needs anything, feel free to reach out to us in Discord and on our social media, on anything. We are here to help you at all points. And yeah.
Yeah. But we just want to say thank you to all the new followers over here on Twitch this week. We've got some gifted subs, some new subscribers as well. So we thank you for your support of the BK Lounge. Make sure you guys check us out on Instagram. Both Kenny and I have our own personal Instagrams, and the BK Lounge has their own. You can head over to thebkloungepod.com. This will be posted on Apple and Spotify this evening. So if you didn't get to catch it all, make sure you catch it on Apple, Spotify, YouTube as well. We appreciate you. We love you. Again, we're here for y'all. We hope y'all have a great, great week this week. And we will have next week's episode posted on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for y'all to enjoy. And we hope you are enjoying the podcast because we're having a blast with it. We don't really have any expectations for it. It's a huge outlet for us. It's something that we can kind of combine our thoughts and efforts and have something together. So we're very, very thankful for you all to be a part of it every single week and share it with your friends, share it with your families. And I think that's about it. Any last words, Kenneth?
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Be good, y'all.
This has been the BK Lounge Podcast with Bert and Kenny. We hope you enjoyed your time diving deep in on wild topics, listening to crazy stories, and hanging out with us. We'll see you next week live on Twitch. Be sure to check out our website for all our social links at www.thebkloungepod.com. Y'all be good now, and we'll see you next time.